Howdy. How y'all doing? How's it going? Happy Monday. I'm a little excited because I just found a video that I had lost that I spent like a half hour on. And I was so upset when I lost it. I'm like, where'd it go? It just totally disappeared off my phone. I know that it was recording because I was seeing the little numbers as I was, talking, and it disappeared. I was like, oh my gosh. And I found it, y'all. I found it. So, today we're going to talk about Miss Marilyn Monroe. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, first, I'm going to show y'all. I've done a cut. Well, let's see how many I've done. I think I've done four, 4 or 5 Marilyns. I love Marilyn. Now, her face, like, you know, for anybody who's painted, you'll know, like, the one thing that I like about painting is when I paint somebody, like, I get to learn about them. And sometimes, I don't know, you think that people look a certain way, and then when you actually go to paint them and you actually go to do the nostrils, you actually go to do, you know, something on their face, you're like, I had no idea it, like, really looked like that. Like, you get to see more stuff. And like when I paint animals, like I remember when I painted skunks, I was amazed at the size of their claws. Their claws. They have huge claws. So that's one of the reasons I like to paint, because it like teaches you about your subject. You have to get all immersed in your subject. So it's not like, well, it maybe is like acting. I don't know, because I've never acted. That would not be um, that's one thing I couldn't do. Get up in front of an audience. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Never, ever, ever could happen. But anyway, I sold my first one. And I don't think the other 3 have been to a show. But this is a pop art version of one that I did of her. And then I did 2 other ones I'll show you sometime that were just like, I get so many images of Marilyn because I go to those, like, old groovy history pics and stuff on Instagram, and you get to see so many pictures of her that you've never seen before. I mean, that girl must have had her picture taken 100 times every day. There are so many photos of her. It's unbelievable. So I like to find the ones that not everybody has seen, and with not the angles that everybody's seen, and paint those ones. But anyway, I'm going to show you all this pop art one I did of her. It's a big one. It's bigger than my, I think the other ones I did of her were like 16 by 20. And I don't know how the colors are going to show out here because, this is really meant to hang inside in the dark. If you had black light, that would be fantastic. But if you didn't have black light and you just had like a really dark atmosphere where there's just enough light for you to see the color, that's like the kind of atmosphere this painting should be in. Shouldn't be showing it to you in broad daylight with nothing behind it. But anyway, so here she is. Miss Marilyn Monroe. Mm-hmm. It's her. It's Marilyn. Don't y'all love Marilyn? I love Marilyn. And Marilyn is a good way to transition into our subject today. Um, so y'all know it's hard to talk on video about personal things in your life. I mean, I'm sure it would be a lot easier if I was just, I don't know, doing makeup, or like I like to watch some of the true crime stuff, but I'm like more interested in the brain and the psychology behind like why, what happened, what went wrong there. I'm not interested in the blood and guts part. So I don't like to watch a lot of the gory stuff. Like I just want to hear about it, and I like to watch interrogations. Um, but that's another tangent that I'll get off on. So to go back to this, so I um, either on Facebook or on YouTube have seen a couple of videos and Facebook posts lately. Um, I see these a lot where, they say you should be grateful for your mom for this reason or that reason, or you should, thank your mom today, and everybody assumes that if you have a mother, that she is like the mother. Like that's the mother to have. That is the mother of all mothers. Um, that everyone has this great relationship with their mother. And that's just like not the case. I'm sure that I am not the only one on this planet, but it feels like it, like when it's Mother's Day, or when you're on Facebook and you're seeing all these posts and I had lunch with mom today and she's the greatest mom in the whole wide world and all that kind of stuff. I'm happy for people that have that, but you can't just assume that everybody has that, and you can't just assume because someone's mother is alive that, oh, they're so lucky, because not everybody has great relationships. And I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail on here, but you know I just don't know, what all I am comfortable with releasing on video, because I'm a Christian, and it's hard. I know that nobody's perfect, and God doesn't expect us to be perfect, and I know that, there's different, you try to follow the commandments and you try to follow the basic guidelines, and if you try to follow Paul, you just feel like a failure all the time because he was just so magnificent. Like, who can sit in a sewer up to their knees or up to their waist and still be singing and praising God? I have not arrived yet, y'all. Pray for me. I noticed that a lot of the influencers that are on here are like, I went through this, I healed from this, now I'm on the other side, and here's my rainbow life. And I have not reached that rainbow side yet. Now, don't get me wrong, I am extremely grateful for like little things, like little tiny things. I thank God every day, for my, not that vision and hearing and all that is tiny things, but I love to watch the outdoors. I love that I have a window and that I can see outside, and that my backyard is full of life. And that is like one of my favorite things to do. I appreciate all the small, tiny things, but there's a lot of things that are missing, and that doesn't take away from the things that I do appreciate, but there's a lot of things that are missing, and I have not arrived yet. I am not fully functional yet, um, in my eyes. Like, God has been working on me little by little by little by little by little, and now it's to the point where, like, sometimes even though God's healed me, like, I don't even know it. Um, like, I cry all the time anymore. Like, so when I was a teenager, when I was young, I was like, whatever, get away from me. I don't care. You can't touch me. I wouldn't let anybody hug me. I was just like hardcore. And he's worked on softening me up over the years. And now I'm so soft, it's like pathetic. I mean, I will cry at commercials. I will cry during Hallmark movies. I will cry at the drop of a hat. It doesn't matter. Somebody can see their sister they haven't seen in a long time, or, somebody's talking about something that's difficult for them and they start to break up. Then I start to break up. Somebody's talking about, how they lost someone, something horrible happened, something on the news. It could be like something I read, especially if it has anything to do with animals. Oh, I'm just like hyper sensitive when it comes to animals. And I haven't ever had a baby or I've had a couple of relationships with friends where I got to see the babies quite a bit. So I have had some relationships with babies, but not like anything that lasted very long. That's a whole other story. We'll go into that later. Um, but bringing it back to the fact that I have a little feral cat in here, and I think he wants out. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna let him out. Okay, y'all. That baby was just sitting there. He wanted to go back outside. He's a little one that I found. Was it like maybe 6 months ago? I let the dogs out one morning and they chased this baby cat up on top of the fence, and I put them back inside, and then it didn't seem to know how to get down. So there's hair stuck on my lip. Y'all know when your hair gets stuck in your lipstick? And you sit there like, I can't get it. All right, there we go. So he wouldn't jump down, and I thought, I don't know, something's wrong, or like he feels like it's too tall for him. So I showed him how to walk all the way down the fence to where I had a table to where he could jump on the table before he jumped. And he was so smart. He knew to follow me down there. He trusted me to take him into the shed, because I have a shed in the backyard where there's like a little opening in the wall, and we have like those refrigerator or freezer flaps, that they use like in commercial. You've ever been in a commercial freezer and you go through the plastic flaps? We have a bunch of those, and so I use them, like for, instead of having a doggy door or buying a cat door, we use the flaps. And so all the ferals can go into that building, which is, all secure, and they can eat and drink and stay warm and get out of the rain and play. Not that they play. Feral cats don't know how to play. It's so sad. Whenever I try to play with them, it scares them. And I've tried with many over the years, and they're just like, I don't know what that is. They're scared of toys. They're scared of the movement. They're like, I don't know what you're doing, lady. But anyway, well, let's go back to, where was I? Oh, this talking about. So you just never know where other people are. Like, I have a house. And so there's people that are like, well, you can't be broke because you have a house. But I've had this house for, almost 30 years. Like, I have worked to make sure that if I make no other money, I make the mortgage. And if I can't make the mortgage, then I'll get a roommate or somebody, or two roommates or three roommates, whatever I have to do to get that mortgage paid. Like, that is the roof over my head. That is the most important thing to me. So, yeah, you can be totally broke because you're just trying to make sure that your mortgage is paid. That doesn't mean that you have any money left over at the end of the month. And I have never I've never made a bunch of money. I've never had a bunch of money. I've never had like any lump sum given to me. I've never come across large amounts of money. I've worked for a bunch of wealthy people. I have spent my life inside huge houses on huge properties that were not mine, um, and always come home to my little 2 bedroom, 1 bath, um, which I love because even though it's only 2 bedrooms and 1 bath, all the rooms are large. Like it's not small. Now, if they'd made it a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, everything would be a lot smaller, but it was like a farmhouse. And it's like from the 50s. And I love that. I love that, like all my cabinets and the way that they did everything in the 50s, everything was built really well. Like even my shed, it looks like it's fallen apart, but I dare you to try to get just a nail inside one of the pieces of wood in my shed. Like that wood is almost harder than concrete. I mean, you try to put a nail in any of the pieces of wood in my shed, you will bend that nail. I don't care what kind of nail it is, it's gonna bend. Mm-mm. It's tough. So it might look like crap, but it's still standing there. I was gonna say kind of like me, but I'm not that pitiful, y'all. Not that pitiful. But there's a lot of things that I want to get into further on in other videos. I'll kind of ease into some things, but I can tell you that I watched a video on well, it wasn't a video, but as a television show. It's called Better Together. I watch TBN and a lot of sermons, as many sermons as I could get my hands on. Y'all, if I didn't watch my sermons every day, y'all wouldn't even be able to handle me. But on Better Together, they had a lady on there, and she was talking about, she had a bunch of like mason jars, and she was doing an example, and she caught my eye. And she was talking about like how if you didn't have a good foundation, like a good self-esteem or foundation growing up, that you just go around with this empty jar, um, and you're going to other empty jars looking to get your jar filled up, and their jars are empty too. And like that just totally, I related. I totally got it. I also think that not only the foundation, but you need some kind of a support system. I have had support at different times in my life, but there's never been anything that's like, continual or always like, oh, I can always count on this person, or oh, this person will talk to me, or this person will be able to help, or this person will, cheerlead behind me. I mean, I just haven't had that. And I think it makes a humongous difference in who you become as a human being. Like, a lot of people have had different things happen in their childhood, and that doesn't mean that it affects their adulthood so much, depending on, I think, what happens. Like, I don't want to get too long into this video because we're already going too long, but I think if you have children, it helps you, like, it's almost like you get to grow up again. Like you get to live through them, and you get to see what you should do and you shouldn't do based on what happened to you. And like, I don't want that to happen to them, or I would never do this to them, or, you try to make it better for them. And I think that helps you grow up and overcome different things that happen to you. And when you don't get to have children, I think you miss out on that whole getting a chance to, properly work out what happened to you. So it's getting long. I'm gonna have to do another video. I hope y'all will like. I hope y'all will subscribe. Um, I hope y'all have a really great day, and I hope you come back and see me again real soon. Bye, y'all.